what makes our products so different. Why are people using other CBD products, other nutritional products? Their skin's not improving, their pain's not going away, their stress is not going away, their anxiety, they're not having results where their hair is being rejuvenated. And it comes down to our technology. We call it an AQUACEUTICAL nano technology, AQUACEUTICAL for short. And I want to talk to you a bit about the Nano and what Nano does. And we have two technologies. We have the water technology and we have the particle technology all going on. You hear that, when we do our presentation, we talk about the water, on how the body is water and how that's important. We talk about our Nano. But I'm going to break that down and just give you, try not to get too scientific, but really give you some confidence and really know what's going on. And, great little slide here, as you can see, that a nanometer is 1/1,000,000th of a meter. And a nanometer is like this marble over here being on the earth. That's, it's just that a nanometer is that small, okay? And so when we bring our products down to 7 nanometers, right? Our particles of CBD, a normal CBD particle is 2,000 nanometers, just one. And so what we do, as you've already heard most of you on the call, what we do is we take that 2,000 nanometer particle and we bring that down to 7 nanometers, right? And we don't shrink it. We cut it up. We chop, like for lack of a better word, we chop it up. So we have, trillions then of particles versus just 2,000 nanometer particles. We end up with millions and a cap full of trillions of CBD particles. You have 37 trillion cells in your body. Every cell in your body has 34 CBD receptors on it. We're designed to take CBD. The problem is, work on most people, and why most nutritionals don't work on most people is the particles are too big. A CBD particle, 2,000 nanometers. Here's the problem: the human cells cannot absorb anything until it gets down to about 60 to 80 nanometers in size, right? We improved our product, and one of our scientists is saying that again, that it's 10 times loaded with 10 times more particles and more potency, is because what we've done, we were using 7 nanometers. Now we've actually brought that down even smaller to around 3 nanometers. Okay, so that's one of the things that we've done. Means we've sliced the 7 nanometer particles even down and created trillions of more particles that the body can absorb. This is why you're going to find it's going to be important is the surface area. Okay, the surface area is where the chemical activity takes place, and so the CBD particle touches the surface, and the greater the surface area, the greater the bioactivity, meaning that, if you have here's the thing, like if you have 2,000 nanometer particle, even when the body processes it down to 60 to 80 nanometer, where it can be absorbed, it's only 160 or 80 nanometer particle, right? But if we create trillions or millions of particles, now it can be in, number one, it can be in more places at the same time. Like a 2,000 nanometer particle could only be on the surface area of one cell. But if we create millions of 23 million particles out of that, it can be in 23 million places, 23 million surfaces on 23 million cells. So the greater the surface area, the greater the bioactivity. Kind of giving you a little example right there, but I'm going to give you a greater example. So let me kind of share with you, because again, just understand, I don't want to get too technical, but for some of you, you'll appreciate what happens. Okay, consider the area of a soccer ball. If you look at this whole area around here and measure that come out to 1.6 square foot, right? So that would be the surface area that could, again, get to a cell, and if it was small enough, obviously, and be absorbed and be active. That's again where the bioactivity starts, because you have 1.63 square feet of a soccer ball. Now, so you can almost say that's it's not as big. I mean, the CBD particle is not that big, but if it was, this would be the surface area you had. Now, if you took that same soccer ball and you chopped it up into tennis balls, okay, let me back up here, tennis balls, you'd end up with about 8 to 10 tennis balls. And now if you look at the surface area of them and measure them all differently now, because it's the same size of the soccer ball, but now it's 8 to 10 tennis ball, and it triples the surface area. If you took it down to the size of the peas, hundreds and hundreds, I guess thousands of peas there. You measure the outside of each one, because each one now it's the same size as a soccer ball, but you've got thousands of these little peas, and now you have 50 times more surface area. So you follow me there? And you took sugar, okay, granules, as you can see right here, then now, and you measured every one of them, right? Then you've got 400 times more surface area than you had when you had a soccer ball, right? So again, hypothetically, that soccer ball is a piece of CBD. If you take it down to that same soccer ball's volume and you bring it down to 80 nanometers, okay, then the surface area increases by 2.7 million times, okay? If you bring it down, because that, which you can't see at the human eye at that point, you're 2.7 million times of surface area, right? And so when you take a look at what this does, what does that represent? If you take a look at a soccer ball field, I mean, that soccer ball now, look at this, guys, ends up being over 102 acres. If you just laid it end to end to end to end to end at 80 nanometers, that would be the size of 60 full-size tennis courts. I mean, soccer courts right there, 60, okay, in a 2,000 nanometer particle. And we're bringing it down to now, it was 7, but you see how dynamic it is every time you cut this in half or a third or whatnot, how much more surface area you get, because it's not just cutting it in half, you're taking the whole surface area in, and this is what we're doing here with our products here. So now when we sit here and turn around, we go from even 7 nanometers, forget 2,000, what everybody else is selling out there, and that's why it's not being effective. Now we've got down to 3 nanometers. And so let me just quickly here share with you our process a little bit. There's 2 technologies. We have the water technology and we have the particle technology. I'm not going to give you the exact science, but let's talk about the structural. We talk about the water, and this is part of our technology. I'm going to give you a little overview of what what we're doing here with the water here. Okay, so here's what happens when you this is a water molecule and a cluster of water, if you will, just like the water you're drinking, right? See, water cannot exist by itself, okay? It always forms around a particle, like similar to this, right? So this is the particle, and then over out here, you have all these water clusters. Water is H2O, right? And how do you create a water molecule? 1 part hydrogen, 2 part oxygen, and then, but the water cannot stand by itself. Now again, you can't see this with the human eye, but what you end up with is little small water clusters out here. See these little clusters here? These are all water clusters, okay? Now, let me share with you, now that you're kind of understanding what's happening there, I'm going to share with you what we're doing and the difference with our technology, okay? A normal water cluster is kind of what I just showed you here. It's approximately 2,000 molecules in size, and it's very stable, because when you have it like this, the water stays together. It doesn't break up. But the problem is you have a 2,000 nanometer 2,000 water molecule clusters, it's very stable, but the problem is the water cannot pass through the membranes in the cells, right? So now, if you break, see, these are all little, if I go ahead and show you, these are all inside here are all little small clusters. You can see these here, all little small clusters, and the small clusters, the subclusters, are 10 to 25 molecules in size, right? The problem with them, if you break them down that low, they have a half-life of about 1 to 2 seconds, and they're very unstable. In other words, they don't last like that because they're too small and they're not supportive, right? And but they are, these little small clusters are the basic building blocks of water, right? These little small subclusters, right? Now over here is what we do. I'm going to share with you a little bit about what we do. Is we have a way, part of our proprietary technology is that we have a way to bring the water clusters down smaller than over here. This is a very overly, as you can see, overly simplified 4-step process to share with you a little bit about what we do with our products, what we do. So what we do is we remove the particle in the middle, those 2,000 water particles, and then we introduce a new particle, and then we reform, which is what I just showed you on that previous, how we get to that smaller cluster that can go through. Now, let me kind of just elaborate on this just a little bit for you here. And so when I talk about removing, here's what we've done. We open our technology opens the water clusters, and then we form, again, after we've broken these down, we form those smaller clusters as we talked about right here. So we break this out, we break these down to smaller clusters similar to this, then we put in the CBD, CBG, and we reform and put this down. And so you end up with a smaller cluster here that actually can be absorbed. So that's a little bit, again, very much, very much, again, I guess the only thing I say is oversimplified, right? But this, when you see this, guys, this is what we're doing here. Now look, see this here? There's lots of little small particles in there, right? When you can break these down to 3 and 7 nanometers, et cetera, see all the different little particles in there versus one particle? Now, when we say it's 10 times more, we're able to load more particles in here. So when these water clusters that are moving all throughout the body, going all to your cells, the payload that's being delivered to the cells with the CBD, the CBG, the curcumin, all this. And so we're able to load much more into the water clusters. And that just gives you an idea of what we're doing here. Again, it's probably more than you wanted to know, but people always ask us a little bit about the technology. And again, there's some things I'm not saying, and then things that we'll never say totally. We're not going to tell you exactly how this happens and all that, but there's some other things that's going on with it as well. But that gives you a quick breakdown of what we're doing. So you can see this is, again, absorbable. It's the body's most favorite thing is water, but water broken down where it actually can pass through the cell membrane and boom, deliver the payload to the cells and get 50-50 blend of CBD and CBG are all, again, being nano-sized down, right? The MSM, the Bajwala, the ashwagandha, the curcumin, the chlorodialis, right? And this is one of the best pain relievers known to man, second only to opioids. This, again, is the one that Dr. Oz promotes a lot on his show, and he loves this product here. He talks about it a lot because it helps with mental disturbances and it helps with pain relief. And of course, now that you, again, about 10 times more potency on the amount that we have in there. So the formula hasn't changed at all. Of the sarsaparilla, which is great, for respiratory issues and immune system, and then of course the resveratrol is, again, that's one of the most powerful ingredients, again, in my opinion, in the world, with all the different things it does. As well. So, but then we have a complete mineral blend with every mineral in the periodic table is here, right? And the problem with a lot of minerals that you take, again, it was taken to Congress in 1929 when they said that, again, that you're not getting the minerals in the food that you eat, right? And so, and if you're going out here buying a multivitamin or a mineral, you're lucky if you get 10 of these, and you're lucky if you get 10 or 15% off even what you're buying. But here, all of these are broken down, processed with what I just talked to you about. The zinc, zinc's big when they've had people talking about with the COVID deal out there. And of course we have zinc, right? We have all the different minerals that your body, every one of these minerals, folks, your body already has. It's very important that your body has these minerals and electrolytes. See, that's what, your magnesium. I asked one of our scientists, he's just really heavy into the electrolytes because, again, it's so important for our system to be able to communicate and be fired up, right? We've got that in our product, but you actually can absorb it. Your system can get that. So other companies are out here selling marine phytoplankton or spirulina or blue-green algae, and you've got it already, plus the vitamins, and of course the multivitamins and the minerals. Look at aloe vera. It's one of the most complete whole foods in the planet. Matter of fact, these two here, both of these, the algae and spirulina and the blue-green algae, however you want to call it, and the aloe vera is two of the most whole, complete foods in the world. And we have that already in our product here, okay? And of course, the calcium, and you see some of that in the glucosamine and all the various things we have. And you come down here, the proprietary, the NAD down here, and the taurine. There's just all these great ingredients. They're all, when I showed you, let's go back here, this is what's in here, even again multiplied now even more, so you're getting more to the body. And that's kind of what we're doing. So when we say, we eat water encapsulated, that gives you just a little bit more about the science and what we're doing and all these products. And if we bring up the fact panel for booster, for relief, or serenity or sleep. We do the same thing with everything. Okay, it's all done so it actually can be delivered